Hi, welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Get ready to revitalize your mind, body, and soul. We're here to inspire women who are looking to break free from old patterns and ideas to create a life of increased confidence and improved health. Say goodbye to limiting beliefs and hello to new possibilities. So kick back, get ready to have some fun, and let's dive in. We'll uncover tools and insights that can help you build a life that's truly nourishing, body and soul. Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Victoria.
And we're glad you're here with us, and happy Thanksgiving.
We didn't practice that. I'm impressed with us. Thankful that we could do it together.
Because we're so unified.
We are.
That's why.
We are. In spirit.
Yes. So anyway, we hope you're having a holiday that is just what you'd like it to be, and that you're finding lots of things to be thankful for.
And fulfilling.
Yes.
And filling. And happy about that.
Yeah. So we're picking up where we left off last week. Last week was kind of here's the issue.
Yeah.
Today is here are some things we can do about it. So we're talking about worthiness. Yes.
I'm just laughing because I'm like here are the issues, rah, rah, rah. And you're like, here's some solutions. Like she's the practical, like practical in, not like in but like practical in this practically can help you. I don't know if that makes sense.
It can practically help. It may not actually help, but it practically can.
It's all the turkey I've eaten. Yeah.
So worthiness is the thing today.
Yes.
We talked about Jamie Kern-Lima's book, Believe It, that's out already. That is an awesome resource for this. We've talked about her book Worthy, that's coming out in February. We've talked about Brene Brown and the great resource that she is. So
for worthiness,
for
worthiness and shame and all that stuff, which is not super fun to talk about on holiday.
But we talked last time about how our feelings of self-worth, it's not just an overall blanket thing. It shows up in various areas, and we can have great self-worth in one place, and these feelings of worthiness that we need to work on in another place. Some of the things we talked about were how it shows up in relationships and in our careers, in money mindset, in our health and well-being, in our creativity and growth. And there's a lot of, it kind of shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
So what can we do about this? We're gonna be brief today because it's Thanksgiving. But we want to give you some tools to really work on this. So I can pretty much, if you're a person that this does not affect, please contact me, because I want to know what your life looks like. Because it's just something that it literally shows up for everybody I know.
We're talking about relationships and your career and money and your health and well-being, your creativity, growth, all of it. Like it's all, and we're all on the path, right? We're all on the stair trying to go along.
Yeah. So what can we do about this when we butt up against this? We see that our lack of self-worth or a lack of worthiness is in a particular area is holding us back.
Yeah.
What can we do about this?
Procrastination we were talking about. Procrastination is a tool that
or a sign, a symptom.
A sign. Yes, not a tool. Well, it's a tool to keep you from doing something about.
Yeah, and no, actually, I'm kind of glad you brought that up that way, because we can approach when anything we're doing, we can approach like if we go, oh, I'm a procrastinator, so what can I do about procrastination? That's just going to deal with procrastination, and it will deal with it usually in a case-by-case situation, which could take forever after to deal with. Or we can get to the root of it and realize that, oh, that's a symptom of, this is a place where one of my lack of worthiness shows up.
Do I feel
I work on that? Then it takes care of procrastination.
Do I feel like I can only do it perfectly, or won't be worth anything? It won't be good enough unless it's perfect. That's procrastination for a lot of people. Or you don't want to do it at all.
Yeah. Or just I don't want to start because it's too big of a job, and I don't know if I can really actually do that much.
And I don't want to succeed because am I really worthy of that success? Or am I going to just be an imposter dancing around?
I remember when I was really faced with recognizing that it wasn't failure that I was afraid of, it was success. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I remember
probably
I
you
first
guys
realized
too.
that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what can we do about it? Mindfulness, first of all, recognizing we can't do anything about anything until we recognize that it's an issue. And so taking the time to be honest with ourselves and go, okay, is this really, I told the story, I'll tell it real quickly again. I had just really felt stuck in some business progress. And so I had some sessions with a life coach. And as I was talking to her, she mentioned several times throughout our conversations, you're worthy of this. You're worthy of this. And I kept thinking, why are you saying that? I know this. I know I'm worthy, because overall my self-worth was good. But in that area, I was butting up against, when I got down to it, realized that, what do you know? And she was right. That I didn't feel worthy of this next thing for whatever given reason. And this can apply, and I don't want to go into specifics because it can applies to so many different situations. But realizing that it just in this area. And so and since then, when I run up against things that I feel like I'm getting stuck in, my first question to myself now is a worthiness thing. And pretty much, if not every time, the answer is, yep, it's a worthiness thing. So just being honest with ourselves about that, taking a look at that, being honest with ourselves, is this a worthiness thing? And if it is, then what can I do about that? And so that mindfulness, that reflection, and then you've heard me say it before, I'll say it again, many, many times, I promise, self-talk.
Yeah.
We can talk ourselves into and out of many things.
Mhm.
And so really when we realize that it's worthiness that's the issue, give ourselves a talk, remind ourselves of who we really are. Because honey, you are worthy. You are, I don't care what life situations have been, what circumstances have brought up, whatever, who you are at your core is a worthy individual. You're worthy of respect. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of all the good things. And when we own that, then our circumstances change. Our situations change when we recognize that. So
how do you recognize that? I mean, self-talk, but like, how, I mean, because that's,
for me,
I hear that in the in the atmosphere, and I think, that, but then really, like, how do we recognize? Because it's not natural for some people, not for some, but for some people to go, oh, I'm worthy of that. You know, like, how do you start recognizing?
Let me just take a second here to say that to me, there's a difference between one thing, a phrase that I have very ambivalent about is, you deserve that. Yeah. Because I see it all the time. Worthiness is not the same thing as deserving. It's, somebody who breaks into a house and damages things and steals stuff and breaks the law, do they deserve to go to jail? They do. They deserve to go to jail. But does that change their worthiness? No. They're still a person who's worthy of love.
So any of you out there who are going around stealing things and practicing large amounts of thievery, you're still worthy
of love. Yes, you are.
Of love. Well, worthy.
Loving and deserving are two different. So
even if you're not a thief, how do you start recognizing? Because it's hard. It's hard. It is easy to say, "Oh, you deserve it," but what does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, and deserve can be I deserve this, or it can be, I deserve this.
Yeah. Well, mostly I think people tell each other, "I deserve it. You deserve that. You deserve this." And
I think
you deserve a happy marriage. You deserve a, whatever.
But really, happy marriage. Do you deserve a happy marriage? Well, to be honest, there are things that a person has to do to have a happy marriage.
I'm trying to get an idea of how do you have good self-worth. So if you're in an unhappy marriage,
go see a marriage counselor.
Go see a marriage counselor.
We don't know. But are you worthy of being loved? Yes, you are.
Yes, that's how I'm talking. Anyway, like, how do we get there without being a thief or a bad partner?
for me first, I'll just tell you, my own journey.
Yes, that would be good.
Getting educated.
Okay.
It's like a lot of reading, a reading of various people. For me personally, being spiritually oriented, reading scriptures that tell me you are a daughter of God, and reading that often enough to where it's like, okay, I know that's who I am. I know that's who I am. And then, so when I'm coming up against something where I'm not feeling like that, it's like, oh, okay, but this behavior, this junk that's going on, this is what I need to go through to help me learn how to be who I really actually am. And this is who I am. Well, it's
not that I'm a procrastinator and I'm a perfectionist. That's who I am. I am a worthwhile person in whatever spiritual realm you are. I am a worthwhile person, and all of this stuff that is, all of my procrastinating and my,
those are symptoms.
So then to spend some time with inspiring.
We talked
inspiring talks.
Jamie Kern Lima,
Brene
Brown, the sources for where to go about who we are, and whether you're spiritually oriented or not. Really coming to terms with the value of a person just because they're a person. Really saying that to ourselves as often as we need to, and reading as much of it so that we have all of these things, this whole long list in our brain, in our phone, wherever we want to put it, and talking to ourselves and realizing that we don't have to believe everything we think. So when we're thinking, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy of this, it's like, wait, that's just a thought.
Yes.
It's just a thought.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's true because I thought it.
No.
And I have all of these other things. I remember these books that I read. I remember how I felt when I read them, and I remember how true that felt. So that's butting up against that. This is what's not true. I remember how I felt when I read that, and that was true. I know that feeling. And so just really getting a lot of ammunition, getting educated.
That's good.
Getting a lot of ammunition.
A lot of ammunition. And there's a lot too, if you're not a huge reader, there's a lot out there to watch. I actually really like Super Soul Sunday, which it got me through kind of a rougher time in my life several years ago before I became enlightened. But that you can find those online.
There are podcasts to listen to, music.
If
you have music that really gets you at the very deepest level, that
there are songs that I have on repeat. Like John Lennon's. I had a really tough time at work once with a really tough boss who ended up getting fired. But before that, I had Let It Be from the Beatles on repeat for hours and hours and hours. Music is a huge thing that can help.
What speaks to you.
I had a really bad boyfriend, like super bad, and I shouldn't have ever been with him, but I was. But anyway, whatever. When we broke up, it was ugly and painful in like the wrong kinds of ways. And I put on Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats Again. Like, I'm not a big country, no offense to any country fans, I'm not a huge country fan, so it was kind of a funny thing for me to go to, and like, I could recite the whole lyrics, Kia's car and the whole thing. I didn't do any of that. I slashed his tires. Anyway, I listened to that on repeat for like 2 months because I needed it. And I was working, so in a cubicle, so nobody knew I was like listening to damaging music anyway. And so and it got me through after 2 months, almost exact 2 months. That helps. So music does help. That like built me.
Find your ammunition. And fill your ammunition chest. So that when these feelings of unworthiness up, we have something to combat them with, instead of just stewing in them to the point where we just believe them. And just think that, no, this is true, not that. Or if you're a person for affirmations are can for some people be a very powerful tool. that we just,
I haven't really tried affirmations.
affirmations
Like you
are,
can,
I have a kind of a mixed relationship. Sometimes there's some, I wouldn't personally call them affirmations, but there are phrases that I use that I go to that are very powerful for me.
Mhm.
But like the, for some people, actually doing some mirror work, standing in front of the mirror and saying, I am enough, I am worthy, I am, or whatever affirmations you come up with. If that's something that's a tool that works for you, that can be a very powerful tool. But if it's not a tool that works for you, then don't feel bad that it doesn't work for you. It's just not your tool. Music may not be your tool. Scriptures may not be your tool.
Yeah.
Whatever. Brene Brown may not be your tool, but there are tools out there for you. Find those and load up on those.
Yeah. I mean, literature, poetry.
Yeah.
All of that. There's so much good music.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that before, but if you can go to concerts around you, or symphonies, if you can, if that's what uplifts you.
Yeah. So
that is a good idea.
Also professional help. This is something we can get professional help for.
Yes.
And that sometimes we're at the level where we can't get out of our own thoughts enough. We need somebody else.
Yeah.
So a trained professional that can help us recognize our thinking and give us tools to deal with that. So getting professional help.
Yes. And we're worthy of that. We are worthy of whatever it takes to sit down with somebody for 50 minutes and talk and be listened to and be heard. And if you go to a therapist and you don't feel that, go to another therapist, because there's therapists out there, and there's there's therapists now on telehealth, and my therapist, I've had and seen her in person for years, but she moved, and so now we do our sessions in telehealth, and that's gotten me through everything. Like Carrie Underwood aside, like therapy has really helped me. And I've had a lot of friends who've talked to me about it, because I'm super open, and who have gone, and then they come to me and they're like, it didn't work. And I said, okay, that happens. What's the deal? Did you talk about this? And all the problems that they had talked to me about, I just asked them, and they're like, no, I didn't. No, why would I do that? And I had that, like when I very first started going to therapy, I had that feeling of like, oh, I'm not going to tell them everything. I want them to think that I'm good. Like your little perfectionist goes on even in that scenario. And when I
cleaning the house before the house cleaner comes over.
And my amazing, great therapist that I had, like I walked in there the first day and I thought, you know what? I am paying her money. Like we can be with our friends and stuff like that. But the idea that I was paying her money and I have problems. And so, what can I do? And I didn't hold back on anything. And I ended up having a lot of success and a lot of hope and a lot of, and that relationship continues today, because I was willing to be that, because I thought I'm worth, she has to hear it because I'm giving her money. So that makes me worth that
time.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. And that kind of, I don't know if that makes sense to people, but yeah.
And there has been a stigma in the past about getting professional help. That is going away, but however the people around you feel about that, if that's something you need, do that. Do that.
Are you saying like sneaky therapy? If you like people around you don't know.
Well, I'm not saying be sneaky.
Although sneaky therapy,
I'm just saying,
fine if that's how it works for you.
Go to a therapist and ask them how to deal with people that aren't supporting you being in therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
But another tool is to have your tribe. Find your tribe.
Yeah.
Find your people and let them uplift you. Let them. And when they say to you, oh my gosh, you are just the kindest person I know, believe them.
Yeah.
Believe them.
Isn't it? And here's the thing, like we are so, for the most part, we are so forgiving of other people. And when they tell us things, when we have friends and they tell us things, we know in our heart of hearts that person is really, really good. And you want them to feel how wonderful and supported and loved they are, because they're wonderful and hopefully supported and loved. And yet when we want that for ourselves, we can we can
We
put
withhold-
walls
we
up.
withhold that from
Yeah.
ourselves.
And I think it's interesting because I went through a lot of stuff when I was in my very teens and in my early 20s, and heavy duty stuff. And I immediately sought out guy friends. And I had guy friends for most of my life until they all got married. And then I realized I chose wrongly, because as it turns out, wives aren't super excited to send their husbands out on a dinner with a single woman. So anyway, or a married woman probably. But I didn't have to ever discuss my feelings. I didn't ever have to admit anything, because we had this friendship on a different level. That I have women friends in my life now, and I've never really experienced how loving it can be to just say, here are my darkest things. Not immediately, right? Here are my darkest things, and tell someone and have them be like, yes, we love you and you're supportive, and the magic really, and the magic that you can feel with some. I'm not saying men cannot be that, because obviously I had guy friends that also talked about their emotions and things, but I wasn't as forthcoming, and it was easier to not to be as forthcoming. This is not a sexist commentary. I'm just saying that having women friends in my life now who support me is a new thing, and to feel worthy of receiving that support is something I'm still working on. But I definitely know when they talk to me that I just feel so strongly, and sometimes I wish some people knew how truly wonderful they are. Really. And if you're watching this and I'm your friend, honestly, that's how I feel about you. That's how I just can't even imagine how some people can't see how beautiful and wonderful and spectacular and loved they are. So, it's easy, I think, for us to feel that, but to receive it is a different thing. And we're worthy of that. We're worthy to receive that kind of love and support. And we're worthy of those feelings that you really are that good, and you really are doing the best you can and putting out such beautiful, wonderful vibes into the world. So anyway, yes. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the women friends in my life. So
yeah. So finding your tribe, finding your community, that self-compassion. Another thing that can help with feelings of worthiness is legitimately setting goals, small goals, and reaching them. That's empowering.
It is.
That's really empowering.
It is.
You go, wow, okay, I'm stronger than I thought it was. I can do this, and builds up those feelings and
have them not be perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect in your small goal.
Yeah.
It's easy to be not perfect in small things, I think,
Yeah.
than to have a big, big task and think, oh, I have to be perfect in that.
Yeah.
So Martin Luther King quote, where you don't need to see the end of the I'm paraphrasing, the end of the staircase. Yeah. You only need to see the first step.
Yeah. Just take the first step.
Yeah.
So little goals that can help. And then we said before, just because we have these thoughts that are diminished self-worth, that doesn't mean they're true. Challenge those beliefs, recognize the beliefs and challenge them. It's okay to tell yourself, no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can talk back to yourself. And then self-care, just finding whatever takes care of you and treating yourself kindly.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean, it can mean, but it doesn't have to mean a bubble bath with candles all around. It can be, I don't know if you're having a bad day and a Diet Coke does it for you, but you don't usually drink Diet Coke, but you're having a bad day. But letting yourself okay, I'm just saying that out of just random, but just saying.
If self-care looks like country line dancing, go country line dancing. Self-care, take care of yourself.
Okay,
we've got a story.
It's not a story. It's just a self-care thing for me.
Okay.
I love dancing, and I took ballroom dance and Latin dance when I was in college, and I competed, and I wasn't great, but I competed. And so I haven't done it in a very long time. off and on found partners who dance. But I haven't found anybody who ballroom dances really. And so plus I'm still waiting for the UPS guy. I don't know if he's going to ballroom dance. So anyway, I found this video where it's Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars, and there's a video where it's got all of these old musicals.
Oh
things.
yeah,
Have you
yeah.
seen it?
Yeah.
They're all these old musicals,
Yeah,
and they're all dancing, and I love that video. And I had it on while I was getting ready, and I don't know, I just started doing some steps, and I thought, this is so fun. Like that's like self-care right there. Dancing in my bathroom in front of the mirror to Uptown Funk and Fred Astaire. So there you go.
Self-care. Visualization is another really good tool. Just create the picture in your mind of how you, even if you don't believe it's how you are, how you would hope that you could be, create those pictures. Visualization can be a really strong thing. So we're going to wrap this up with a quote.
Also, just one thing, quick thing about visualization. That to me, like, I don't have any idea what I would do when but there are like videos on YouTube that have guided visualizations, and they're guided visualizations as in I'm going through a meadow and I see a beautiful tree, and like things that you think about yourself and want to think. So there are, if like the idea of visualizations gives you like no real visual, then there's plenty that can be supplied for you.
And there are also visualizations on specific things. So like if you're finding yourself up against a money wall and your money beliefs are rooted in lack of worthiness, there are some visualizations that are available on any topic you can imagine. So specific topics or just in general, but visualization can be a real powerful tool. And we're going to close with this quote,
which we didn't know that the other one knew and loved.
But it's hopefully, if you haven't heard this before, I'm sorry that you haven't. You'll hear it now, and hopefully you have heard it. It's from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. As children, we do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in every one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So wherever you think the source of that light is, if you're not a spiritually inclined person, but wherever you feel like the source of that light is, you are a being of light. You are a person that is worthy of love and respect and of being kind to yourself. So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We are so thankful for you.
Yes, we are. See you next time. Hey, if you want to help us grow this podcast that we're having fun doing, like and subscribe.
And comment.
Oh, yes.
Please comment. We will comment back.
Yes, we will. Hey, it's Tracy. If this was helpful and you'd like more, follow me on Instagram at tlastel.nourishingbodyandsoul, or on Facebook or YouTube at Nourishing Body and Soul, or you can find my website at nourishingbodysoul.com. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that the information we share in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended for medical advice. While we hope you find our discussions helpful, we strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or any other aspect of your health. We also want to make it clear that the host, guests, and producers of this podcast are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences that may result from the use of any information or suggestion discussed in this podcast. We care about your well-being, but we can't take responsibility for individual outcomes. By listening to this podcast, you agree to indemnify and hold harmless the hosts, guests, and producers of this podcast from and against any and all claims, damages, liabilities, costs, and expenses arising from your use of the information provided in this podcast. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope you keep listening and learning with us. Thanks.